Hi, welcome back to Seffi's Lemonade and my kitchen. I know it's been a minute since we've done an upload, but I've been dealing with some stuff. And when I went to try to film this for you guys, my stuff that I hang my camera on would not work. So figured since it's our lunch meal for their Thanksgiving day, that we would just embrace the home movie quality of it. The short of it, we're gonna make my version of Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. Obviously, I can't have beef. All my Alpha Gal people understand that, but duck breast has been amazing to substitute here, and I've told several people about it, and I've been asked how I do it, and I decided that was the video that would break us back into this. Um, it It's a really simple recipe. It takes some time. Anytime I do it, I break down an entire duck because it's like $23 for the duck. And I get a meal for all four of us and the Philly cheesesteak. I get a whole jar of duck fat, which is about $10 to $14, depending on how much I actually get to render out, of savings. Because if I were to buy that at the store, it costs a lot, but it's so good to cook with, so it's worth it. Um, and then that broth is amazing. So for 20 something dollars, I get almost $80 worth of meals. So I really hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you try it. I know it's not the healthiest, but we're not going for healthy, we're going for fed. Okay. So enjoy. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. And leave me a comment to let me know. I'll see you guys next time. I promise it won't be this long again. This is a whole duck and it has been dismantled. We have the breast, the actual carcass and the neck, the legs and wings, and then this is all the fatty bits. And then that's the tenderloin. But this is what I'm focusing on to show because I've done it several times and I've had requests to show how to do it. And it's very simple. These are the duck breasts, and I have trimmed off the excess fat. I've got a little more, but that's fine with how I'm doing it. Normally you want to make sure you get every little bit, but I want a little bit extra. My pan is heating up, and we're going to cook these. But we want them as cold as possible, so I'm going to keep them in the fridge until the pan is hot. And these are going to go in the oven so that they're cooked and good. This will make a broth at a later date. This will be nibbled on today while we're making our Thanksgiving. And then this I'm going to render out to make duck fat. I'm sure I'll throw in little clips there, but these are going in the oven. I tested the pan to see if it was hot. I have scored the fat. I'm just going to salt it a little bit of pepper. And then we don't need to do anything but put it in here. Fat side down. Once it's in the pan, I add some soy sauce. Make sure nothing's sticking. And then we're going to salt and pepper the top a little bit. I about can't do anything without adding smoked paprika. You don't need a whole lot. I just like the color red. And we're going to let that cook on like a medium low until we can tell it's pretty well cooked on that side, and then we'll flip it. We have vegetables to be chopped. And now we have our chopped vegetables. We left them long because we're making a sandwich and we want the full effect. And these are left big chunks because I pulled them out. I don't expect people to eat chunks of garlic. And the amount of flavor I want, that's too many minced pieces in the final product. So while this is cooking, you want to take that fat that's melting into the pan and scoop that and pour it over top of the duck breast while it cooks. I have been basting this in between the chopping and everything. You can see it's starting to change color. The breast has definitely clumped up and shrunk in its length. And I've got my fat over here. As you can see, liquid starting to form. Okay. Alright, so what we're looking for is this right here. Let's see if I can get it for you. See that crustiness? We like that. So we're going to flip these, add the almost whole stick of butter and the vegetables, and I'll show you what it looks like in a second. Alright, it looks like chaos, but we're going to do our best to stir and do our best to get everything nice and wet. I'm going to turn this heat up a bit since I added cold things. And we're just going to make sure everything sees liquid, because you want everything to soften and everything to infuse flavor. I know it seems a lot like a lot of butter, but we're not eating all the butter. Alright, and we're going to let that sit for 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're going to put it in the oven. Progress, it's been just a couple minutes. You can see things are softening. It's bubbling, so I reduced it back to where I had it. And it's going to have about another 3 minutes before I throw it in the oven. I've already had my oven preset. It's at 375. And it'll sit in there for between 7 and 10 minutes. As you can see, our fat is rendering out. I have not added any liquid to that. So that is nothing but duck fat being pulled. About the time the vegetables are reduced enough that you can cover them with the liquid like that is when it's ready to go in the oven. That's why we use the pan that we did, so that it is oven safe. And I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to poke in to see our bird in there. It's cooking. So let's add the rest of it. I just pulled this out of the oven. It was in there for about 9 minutes. See the difference between what we started with the vegetables, which is where we are. I'm gonna let this rest for in its liquid like this for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Just long enough to make sure I have everything gathered up. And then I'm gonna set it to the side on that cutting board for another 2 minutes so that it's cool enough to touch, and I'll slice it. While I'm letting the breast sit in the juice, I want to go ahead and pull most of this vegetable out. See how it's still got its structure maintained, but it is a lot softer without such a harsh crunch. That's what we want. Alright, we have our main event separated. We have the juice, we have the vegetables, and we have this beautiful duck breast. So we're going to slice this really thin, almost like you would a brisket. Okay, so you can see exactly what I mean. Just slice it. Look at that. Doesn't that just look delicious? Alright, I'm going to show you how to make a sandwich here in just a second. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my roll and put some meat and some of that on there. And I've got me some vegan cheese. Okay, so that's what's still left from the breast that I just cut up. And I've got my sandwich. I decided to throw it on a pan so I can throw it in the oven and let the cheese melt. Alright, so we can update on the whole bird. That is pretty well done rendering out. So I'm just going to kind of let it sit for a little bit longer and season my wok. That's how much fat we rendered out. And a little bit more of that, like if I hadn't cooked the whole breast and just rendered the fat from it, that amount of fat is about $14 at my local store on duck fat. So that's honestly worth it. We've got our whole bird carcass that I'll freeze. It's cooled. And then we have our leg and wings, which the wings pretty much just go in there with that. But all right, so there's the broth, aka the au jus, and the sandwich. And you're welcome. Just try it.